Thank you. In all honesty, this success is getting kind of boring. Happy Monday, everyone. So this Friday, Joker 2 arrives in theaters, and it's about a mentally ill man who terrorizes society with his mentally unstable female sidekick. But most of you have already seen it. Yeah, you saw that one coming, huh? That was half of the crowd's like, oh, here we go. Earlier today, President Biden delivered remarks on the devastation caused by Hurricane Helene. He comforted victims by reminding them of how he once survived a flood in an ark. Reportedly, Tim Walz is nervous about tomorrow night's vice presidential debate. He hasn't been this nervous since that time he ran out of tampons. Jen Psaki told Doug Emhoff that he has, quote, reshaped the perception of masculinity. That's true. Back in the old days, a guy like that might have talked the nanny into keeping the baby.
Oh.
Archaeologists in China have discovered a 3,600-year-old mummy that was buried with pieces of cheese. "One ticket to China, please," said this man.
He's a friend.
Oh, you'll laugh at that one, but not the very perceptive abortion joke. Sean Diddy Combs is reportedly off suicide watch. However, the prison guards are still on suicide watch to keep from killing themselves in case they hear him rapping. New York City's fighting the rat population by feeding them pellets containing birth control. Apparently, they kept wriggling out of their condoms. While discussing the climate change hoax, John Kerry called the First Amendment a roadblock and expressed a desire to change it. Also described as a roadblock, John Kerry's enormous head. And finally, scientists have figured out how to make the skin of live mice appear transparent. Ugh, transparent mice? That'll just make it much harder for my doctor to remove them. When they get trapped.
That doesn't make it better.
I know.
No.
I don't care. You can't catch me. So Friday, a massive story broke out about how our government allowed thousands of rapists and murderers into our country. The source was not some right-wing think tank, a shut-in on social media, or worse, some freaks on morning TV. It was ICE, our own Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Among the non-detained illegals, over 400,000 are convicted criminals, including tens of thousands convicted of sexual assault and homicide. You know, you'd think that a report from those in charge of the border telling us that tens of thousands of thugs have entered and remain here would sort of hit the news. But the media was as quiet as Joe Biden watching Jeopardy and trying to play along. They ignored it the way Hillary ignores having her hooves trimmed. Oof. Instead, it was reported on X and on Fox. The reason is simple. The Legacy News decided the story had to be contained. And so they pulled the plug like Andrew Cuomo at an old folks' home. Oh, tens of thousands of rapists and murderers, dead and violated Americans, and you weren't even told about it. Remember that the next time you have the urge to trust the media. Trust them as far as you can throw them. And if you're trying to throw anyone from The View, have the number of a good chiropractor. So how does a huge story break and it only shows up here and there? It's like a sewer pipe after Taco Tuesday, maxed out, ready to burst, but instead of calling a plumber, the media forms a seal against it to keep it contained. That's how the news works these days. With the exception of a few outlets, there's an ideological seal by our media against the natural flow of information to the American voter. And it's to prevent anything but the approved election outcome. Approved by them, of course, not you. And when the pressure gets too much, that sewer pipe bursts, and you're the one who has to deal with all the If America knew what happened at the border under Biden-Harris with tens of thousands of murderers and rapists freed into our country, they'd never in their right minds vote for Harris or any Democrat, no matter how many staged photo ops she takes at a border she helped destroy. Harris visiting our southern border is sort of like Sherman coming back to Atlanta or Alec Baldwin shooting a remake of Young Guns. So, of course, the news must be suppressed. They aren't even fact-checking the stats because they don't have any. And no one feels better hearing, hey, it's actually only 10,000 violent invaders, followed by, oh, and please call them foreign exchange students. Even worse, so-called sanctuary policies limit local law enforcement cooperation with federal authorities. So ICE can't even arrest illegals convicted of crimes. Some communities ignore requests from ICE to hold criminals longer, so the agency can't take them into custody. The result, more vicious, more violent crime in your neighborhood, around your family, your kids. The news may shock you, but it's not your fault. You just haven't been approved to know about what's really going on. And sadly, in America these days, what you don't know can hurt you a whole lot. Now, this is an issue where we should be able to achieve that political holy grail, bipartisan consensus, because there's no question that most, if not all, Americans are against rape and murder, and therefore against the influx of thousands of rapists and murderers into our country. After all, who could be for that, besides the makers of ski masks and bleach? So we're left to ask, why is this happening? Maybe they're doing crimes Americans don't want to do. But why aren't the legacy media even bothered by it? Is it because they're protected from the violent consequences? Or do they fear the political consequences? It's both. Because aside from trying to gain this election, you can bet there are very few migrant rapists running around in the New York Times newsroom or on George Clooney's Lake Como estate. But you, like workers with a desk near Brian Stelter's bathroom, you're just collateral damage. So at the same time, the progressive left hides the actual results of their disastrous policies from you. They're making damn sure they're insulating themselves from those results. It's just so much easier to be a progressive from DNC headquarters. Let's welcome tonight's guest. His kids only stay at his place when he's on the road. Actor, writer, comedian Jamie Lissow. Who wouldn't want to roll in the hay with this Green Beret? Retired Green Beret Master Sergeant Terry Shepard. Her books are selling and her belly is swelling. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor captain. And to him, big and tall, looks like Baby Gap. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Pyro. Jamie, you've seen dozens of illegal immigrants firsthand entering your old house with your ex-wife, specifically in her bedroom. How?
Whoa.
Is this a sore subject?
For him or her?
Yeah. I did try to get her to build a wall at one point, and one of those razor wire walls. Isn't it? By the way, you brought up a great point about the old-fashioned ski mask.
Yes.
You know that's only used if you're gonna rape or steal something. Like no, even if you're skiing and you see someone in that mask, he wants to steal something from you.
Yeah, it's true.
That's all it's used for.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not to be all so. At some point, shouldn't you be able to admit you're wrong? For the sake of saving lives, like at some point, wouldn't you put politics? Like this dude said, it was Tony Gonzalez. Representative Tony Gonzalez said it's like 13,000 criminally convicted murderers coming in, 660,000 non-citizens with criminal histories, and like not to be racist, but I believe a Gonzalez over a Harris in this case.
Yes, I do too.
Do you know what I mean? And I also feel bad for remember when the Border Patrol, they were taking down the razor wire, even though it was on private citizen property, they don't care. They don't care who comes over. And I worry about, I feel bad for regular barbed wire.
Yeah.
Now that there's razor wire. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like when they made extra, it's like barbed wire's like, yeah, we want to keep the intruders out. We want to give them a shot at getting in. Right? It's the same thing as like extra strength Tylenol. You're like, who would buy regular Tylenol? Like, oh, I just want to get rid of part of my headache. But isn't it infuriating that you I don't know, it's almost like the world of politics makes it so you can't admit you're wrong.
Right.
Even when it means you're trying to save people's lives.
You got me thinking on a tangent. Shouldn't the ski mask industry do a campaign to get the ski mask back into the skiing industry?
Yeah.
Like it's such they have a bad rap. It's like when somebody buys a full ski mask, it's for something bad.
Yeah, I bought a ski mask recently and it actually came with bleach.
All right, Terry, my sexy Popeye.
Here we go. Here we go. Good to see you. It's been like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a long.
I miss you, as always.
Thank God I have those videos.
And this is why you need to pay attention to this, because this is why we broke up.
Yeah.
We had a really trusting, there's a passionate relationship where we helped each other and we grew, and then it didn't work, and now you hold these tapes over me all the time. And you know what? At some point, I'm just going to say release them.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid. I am who I am. What are we talking about?
We were talking about
things?
immigration. You're a vet. Does this trouble you, the way we're basically opening the doors? And
for years, I've always wanted to ask the people that are running the show, whether they're Republican or Democrat, what is the acceptable amount of death and destruction? Mm-hmm. So they're always like, well, they're not doing this. It's not that. And they even had the temerity to sit there and go, well, it's actually not X thousands. It's a little less.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for all these years that this has just been going on, I always just wanted to ask one of them, really, what is the percentage of death, destruction, rape, identity, anything? What's the amount that we're cool with? Because they never said that. It was just more.
Yeah. No, it is. It's the, you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, man. And it's not affecting them.
Yes.
That's what bothers me. And you've talked about this. The people that are posing this on us, they're doing it because it's not affecting them yet. They can stay insulated from it. And one day that will change, but by then I guess they figure they got you locked in and the government runs you.
It's a sad state of affairs.
It sure is. Yes.
It's good that you're still in shape, Terry. You still work out?
I am still very dangerous.
All right, maybe ask Kat a question. This is getting weird.
You can still do laundry on my stomach. Okay. Just so you know. I'm proud of that.
I like Terry. I just feel bad he put his fun bell bottoms on. You're asking him about murder and rape. Those are some fun pants.
These are fun pants. These are not as fun as I've worn on here before, the leather and stuff, but
yeah,
I got to ease back in. It's been a while.
I know, that's true. Kat, people have now finally, some people in the mainstream media, CBS is finally coming out, but they're doing it as a fact check using information from Mayorkas. Who is not somebody to be trusted. But now they're coming around, I guess we better address this.
It's good. They should address it, because I think that hiding it, not talking about it, I don't know if they realize it or not, but I think it pushes people on the right more to the right, that they can't just say, hey, we think it's bad, the murder and the rape. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. They want to focus on, well, this number wasn't right, or not everyone who comes here is, and of course they're not. Of course they're not. But it shouldn't be controversial to just say, full stop, this is bad, we got to do better than this, I hear you. And then I think people would be more willing to listen overall. People get radicalized when they feel like they're being lied to.
That is so true. That is so true, Terry. All right, Tyrus, are you surprised that the immigration crisis has gotten this bad? And do you believe, did you see Harris go to the
border?
Yeah.
I think we all saw it. She went to the border about as long as I go into the women's ladies' room. I walk in and go, oh, wrong room, and I walk out. This is the time where Americans, men, have to step up. It's almost a call to arms. We got to stop watching the Sunday football games and stuff. We got to bring back the neighborhood watches. We got to start being involved in our communities. We got to make sure we're at the parks. When your daughter and wife say we're going for a walk, guess what? You got to go with them.
Yeah.
We got to start paying attention, because there are few eggs that they love to break that we've been saying for a long time. There are eggs. There are stuff. And we don't talk about the victims. And whether it's 10,000 or 10, if you want to argue it, Venezuela used to be one of the most dangerous places in the world to go. Their crime is down 71%. Do you know why? Because they outsourced it to America.
Yeah.
They opened up their jails and said, get out on our watch. And there's no help coming until November 6th. So we have to get back in our communities. I'll pay tickets for carrying a firearm. We're going to have to start protecting our homes. You're going to have to start training gyms, paying attention. Karen, we need to stop. We need to apologize to Karen.
Yes, that's true.
Because if it wasn't for Karen, the assassin would have gotten away that attempted. We need Karens, but guess what? While Karen's yelling, old John's gonna have to get his ass up and stand next to Karen and start protecting our neighborhoods and watching and reporting, and we need to be present.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to finish something?
Well, I was going to say too. The problem with this is we know who's and not just take it out of the illegal immigration thing, just crime in general. We know who the heads are.
Yeah.
We know who's doing this. This could be fixed so quickly by guys like us. But if we do fix it, we go to jail. So that's the problem, too, because we could, if the government got out of our way. What? What are you laughing
I like how you pointed to and me and Jamie are like,
Oh, and Kat.
It's like guys like
guys like us.
He's pointing at Tara.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't look at. He
No,
doesn't
you know
look
what the
at
best
Jamie.
part was? Jamie was waiting to get picked.
I was.
You were.
To be fair,
He was.
Jamie and I just met, and I like the cut of his jib, but I didn't mean to exclude you from that at all.
He actually passed by me with his finger. He was like, oh.
But you were ready.
I was ready.
You were like, oh man, I'm getting picked.
I feel really crappy now, man. Not about you, because you would be absolutely worthless in this struggle.
Greg is at home on the computer sending scathing emails to all
Yes,
the
that's
government
right.
departments.
That's what he would do.
Everyone has a role.
Well, I didn't see that turning against me.
No, that's it. You would send the murderer a really mean text.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll
Some sort
see
of
about
passive-aggressive
that. What
thing.
if
How do I
I'm the
know?
murderer? All right, I got to move on.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.